Back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake. For all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs, go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started. What's going on? Facebook Live, YouTube, podcast listeners. Welcome back. Hey, how you doing, sir?
What up, man?
Not much, brother. Just getting ready for the old iCast, you know?
Yes, it's right around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, we're today's Thursday. We're a little less than 2 weeks away. A little less. Looking forward to it. It's always fun down there, you know?
I was almost
go. What's that?
I said I was almost okay to go.
Yeah, almost. Little disappointed in you on that one, but that's all right. That's all right. It's not why we're here.
No.
Boys, girls, if you're watching, go down in that lower left-hand corner, hit that share button. Let's get some folks in here. As we're going along talking, if you guys got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we will get those answered for you. We got Mr. Sturgeon Steve Carroll in the house tonight. We're going to be talking about a number of different things, some cool stuff that Steve's got going on, and obviously he's known for chasing big sturgeon, but he also chases other fish as well. But he's been doing some cool stuff with some cameras, some trailers, things like that. Not sure how deep we're going to get, but definitely want to touch on that stuff, and should be a good time. Should we get him in here? Should we make him wait? We should. He had a little camera audio issue. Actually, the camera was fine. It was the audio that he suffered on. But let's get him in here, Mr. Steve. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Finally, glad to get hooked up with you guys again. Sorry about that audio problem earlier, man. It was just one thing after another.
That's what happens when you live in the middle of nowhere, bro. You can use that excuse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Steve's a return guest. We've had him on a couple times. Obviously, we talked heavy about sturgeon fishing from a kayak and stuff like that, man. But for those that may not know who you are, let's get a little background on you, man. Where you're from, how you got into kayak fishing, and all that good stuff, buddy.
Yeah, sure, sounds good. So, I'm from Caldwell, Idaho, just on the outskirts of Boise, and I got into kayak fishing. God, it seems like a decade ago now, but just started out catfishing, right? Just catfishing from a kayak on the Snake River, and then got into a couple of bass tournaments just on the old Lifetime Tamarack, right? That's everyone's favorite boat. That's what gets you hooked. The first kayak's like essentially free. And then I fell in love with the sport, and once I realized that, hey, we had sturgeon in the Snake River, and it all just came together for me. It was just taking one passion, tying it to another passion, which was kayak fishing, tying it to sturgeon fishing, and then we wound up with a couple of near-death experiences, and then we learned a lot. We moved on, and it's been a ride.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, it is the middle of summer, man, but I think it's a good story. And I know we talked about it one time, and maybe let's touch on that again, because I think there's a valuable lesson in that, and I'll let you two kind of tell the story, but I will preface this. Like, I have never heard Jay as scared and distraught as he did when he called me after that whole incident went down. But you were prepared, you knew what was up, and obviously you're still sitting here today, so that's obviously a good thing. So maybe run us through that, man, like cold water gear, stuff like that, what went down and how that all worked out.
Yeah. So, oh man, that was a heck of a day, but it was a day that we had prepared for. So that's the most important thing is preparation. Is you got to dress for going in the water, especially when you're targeting big game species, right? I think this was in November, Jay, if I'm not mistaken, and we had one of those river illusions where the current's going one way and the wind is going upriver, so it gives you that odd effect that the water is actually staying still, so you get complacent on what's actually happening with the water. I think this was Jay's second time or third time out, and we had a hard time on his first trip hooking up with the fish and landing. So, we were getting a little greedy. We had too many rods out, and we essentially got tangled up. And we just had the sterns of the kayaks on the shoreline, and the bows were just kind of out in the water, but out just enough to be problematic. And as I'm sitting there trying to get one of the lines untangled, I feel like I'm not in any kind of danger. And then all of a sudden I hear Jay just go, "Steve," and he said it in a way that was like, I knew what was happening next. I look up and I'm already going over, and I flip over. I'm in my dry suit. The water's 40 something degrees. The air temp was pretty chilly that day. And we did have a good breeze, like a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind. So none of that was helping, but we're both wearing life jackets. I had means of escape on my life jacket. I had the NRS co-pilot knife. I also had some fillet knives and some scissors, all handy. But boat's upside down. It's a pretty steep drop from where we're at on the bank to a 40-foot drop. And I'm just trying to stay calm and collected. And all of a sudden I start feeling the sturgeon lines, which are heavy braided lines, or I think we were fishing with monofilament at that time. It's 60-pound mono. And I could feel it stretching across my back. And I'm like, I got to get out of the situation. The kayak's upside down. I'm in this heavy gear. And I told Jay, just throw the rod. Just get rid of it. Just throw the rod. So we threw one of the rods into the water. We had two left. Eventually we got turned right side right, got flipped back to where we needed to be, and all the rods went in the water. One of them was leashed off. That was the one that was in front of me, and then we reeled one of them back in because it was still tangled up. But we did lose one expensive setup. But all the sturgeon weights, baits, all that stuff just gone. But
I think the thing is too is, you're mentioning all what's going on, but what they're not hearing is that we were in a 40-foot hole. It was a really strong eddy. So it was like a turbine where we were, because remember, everything kind of just got turned around super quick. That's why the lines got tangled. And if you would have went out, the current was so strong, it just would have took you out from where we were.
Yeah,
it was sketchy. I was like legit scared at this point because I had dry lowers, but I didn't have a dry upper, and I had a stupid duck hunting jacket on. And I'm realizing now that if I go over, I was like, I'm gonna take on water quick and I am screwed. And it was cold. It was super cold, if you remember. That it was just too rough where we were. But yeah, I mean, when the rods came out, I had two rods in both hands, or one rod in each hand, and they were pulling me from one side to the other, and then I'm having to make decisions, because you were first don't drop the rods, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. The kayak's right here, you're right there. I'm like, so I let one go. I think I held on to one. And then you swam over and I kind of settled it down for a second, because it was obviously, you're like, holy crap, I'm in the cold water. Thank God you wore the dry suit that day, the full dry suit. Because remember, that was kind of a last minute decision, I think, to use that one.
But I was planning on hopping into the Sidewinder bibs that I've got, and I was like, you better be safe than sorry, right? You got the equipment. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, and I think too, like one thing you guys didn't mention is you guys are in the middle of nowhere, like far away from civilization, right?
Well, we're
yeah.
by a highway, but like nobody's gonna see you. And I think there's like
Sure.
one house over there, right, Steve? And we don't even know if anybody lives there full time.
Yeah, no, it's cutting through the middle of farmland. The highway does run adjacent to it, but if there was a situation, it's just the guys that you have with you that are gonna be able to rescue you. You have to be able to do deep water reentry, and you have to be able to assist anyone that's in your party to be able to get back into their boat and just have the right gear. Got to be ready to go into the water, and staying calm is so critically important, especially in a dangerous situation like that. But a lot of good takeaways from it. Got a lot of good lessons learned. More of a respect for the water because it's a devious one, right? When you got the river going one way and the wind going another, it creates an effect. I don't know what the name of that effect's called, but it makes it look like it's still.
Yeah.
And it gives you a false sense of security, but just right under the surface, it's a ton of current.
Yeah, because getting back was murder. I mean, it was, man. I think because I was in the pedal drive and you were in the CUDA.
I was in the CUDA HD.
Yeah, so I'm not ever going to be in a CUDA, but I've never really trusted those ones anyway. But I don't know. Me and that CUDA just don't get along. But I was in like the Kusa HD or FD at that point, and I'll tell you what, that current was bad. It was probably I want to say one of the roughest times I've ever had going back. I mean, I walked some of that in the water in the bibs because I just couldn't pedal against the current. It was just so difficult.
Yeah, speaking of kayaks, I've since gotten rid of the CUDA HD. It was a great boat for me when I was 50 pounds lighter, but I since moved up and picked up a big rig. I actually bought that big rig off of you. And so now I got the 2 pedal drives, the big rig, and the Kusa FD. And man, I really wanted that color pattern, that green and black. I think it's called Wicked, and Jackson only made it for 1 year. I think it was 2019 or
Yep.
I think it was 2019.
2019 for sure.
So I remember. Yeah, just caught a couple hundred feet of fish now since I picked it up from you. But
right on, man. Well, I know like that wasn't the way we initially thought we'd start this out, but I mean, you brought mention to it, and I mean, it's always good to go back and revisit that stuff. You never know who it can help in certain situations. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
Right on, man.
Yeah. So, go for it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So we, I was gonna talk a little bit about that trailer setup. So that boat, I'm from Idaho. Jay's from Illinois at that time. He moved clear to Tennessee now. But that trailer that I brought out to Illinois to pick up that boat, that's the trailer that I made all these modifications to. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, is being efficient with your time, being efficient at the ramp, being efficient on the water. And, I've done a couple of accessory upgrades, some thinking outside the box that I believe are ideas that are going to really help anglers, especially on the tournament scene, right? We just had the NRS Open up at Dwarshak, phenomenal fishery, just beautiful. If heaven has a bass fishing lake, it's Dwarshak. 9-pound smallies have been caught there, just tanks. So NRS and David Foyt and those guys, they put on this Open, and it was just a phenomenal event. I think there was like 44 anglers or so. Big prize package payout. If the NRS boys are watching, thanks again for that. That was incredible. But what I realized is when we were up there, I've got a single wide jet ski trailer, and when you're tournament fishing, man, you have to be efficient at the ramp. You can't be sitting at the ramp trying to unload all your stuff, unload all your rods, unload all your gear, and get them staged, and then launch your boats. You want to do that up in the parking lot. So I was thinking, how can we do this so that we can load all of our boats in the parking lot and then just wet launch and away we go. So come tournament morning, we're hitting the water and getting to the spots we need to get to. And that makes all the difference if you're trying to fish some points that are right within launching distance and you're trying to beat the next guy. So I sent a link to a couple of pictures, and I want to talk about that here for a second. If you guys are able to pull some of those up, taking a single wide jet ski trailer and building out these rack systems that allow you to put both boats, one on top of each other. So you get the fuel savings, the fuel efficiency, you get that both boats riding in the draft of the car. But you also get the benefit of being able to take it to a double wide so that you can launch all your gear, you can stage all your gear, you can get all that going before you hit the water. And that made a huge difference for me and my co-angler when we went out to Door Shack. Kyle Fitzpatrick, he took fourth place up there. He had a tank of a Smalley 20.5 inch during the tournament. My pattern fell apart. I wound up way down in the sticks, but it happens, right? But yeah, so this rack system is all thinking outside the cage, and it's a solution that I'm planning on building kits for as a bolt-on kit and selling it on the open market. So what we're looking at here, this is the picture that we just had up was, yep. So that one there, there's a lot of guys that know the Shorelander name when it comes to trailers, right? That's the most popular single wide jet ski trailer, and that's what this is. This is a single wide jet ski trailer. Well, how can that be, right? You got two boats sitting side by side. Isn't that thing going to tip over? Not exactly. If you look up on the left, you see we got a rod locker. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. That provides enough counterbalance and stability to get that thing up and down the ramp. Both those boats, we can launch them without even having to strap them down. So this is a pre-launch morning, or I think this is one of the pre-fishing mornings. Got all of our gear set up. We got that new Black Pack Pro from Yak Attack. That thing is incredible. And if you cycle through to a couple of the other photos, probably to that sequence, we can see how the trailer is staged and how it folds apart to give you that benefit of that turning double setup.
This is all right. Sequence, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So this guy here, this is if we're able to zoom in just a little bit, we can see we've got some angles on this trailer. We got this cage that's on this trailer, and we got an accessory set of bunks. And what happens is we take those arms right there. Those arms will fold out 90 degrees, and they'll drop just a little bit lower. And you pin them with some 3/8 over center pins. And those accessory bunks that you see right there on the 45, those get mounted to the two arms that come out to the side of the boat or to the side of the trailer. And those get pinned to the two arms that come out. Now the 45, if you go ahead and click through the sequence, you'll see how this plays out.
Boom.
Let's see here.
So those fold down.
Yeah.
Okay. And the bunks go right on top of those arms.
Yeah. So you see those bunks just sitting there right on those arms. That 45 right there, that allows me, if I'm taking my daughters out, to drop that boat down from the upper down to that lower launch point, just all by myself. Makes it a whole lot easier than how I was doing it, trying to load the bow up and then pick up the stern and then go that way.
Well, and especially too, because that's a Coosa FD up top there, man. That's not a light boat. I mean, what, 120 pounds or something it was?
Something like that.
Yeah.
They're like 130 with that seat and everything on there and the drive.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
So those racks allow you to take that upper boat, slide it down those 45-degree rails, and then stage it on the accessory bunks. And now you have a turning double is what you can call it. Actually, we shouldn't call it that. I think there's a trailer company that has a turning double, but just a single wide jet ski trailer that now allows you to put two boats side by side. That gives you the benefit of staging all your equipment before you launch and having the ability to wet launch everything. And when we were testing this out, my buddy Kyle, he actually rode in the Kusa FD on the sidecar, on the side arms, off the ramp. He didn't even have to get out of the boat, just pulled right up to the parking spot, and away we went.
That's pretty badass. And you said that's just a bolt-on thing that you came up with, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, so this is a Shorelander trailer. I keep talking about that, but a Harbor Freight trailer and a Shorelander trailer. You see a lot of guys who are in that price point who want the benefit of having the speed of being able to launch both boats at the same time, but don't want to spend, buku bucks on, a custom double wide trailer. A, it takes up so much space in the yard. B, they're expensive. And C, these Shorelanders, I mean, you can pick them up for $300-400 used, across the country. Same thing with those Harbor Freight trailers. So what this solution is, this is a rack solution that I'm planning on launching here in August to go in addition with this rod locker system we'll talk about here in a second. But the whole rack system has been purpose designed to serve multiple different needs. So those 45s, they assist with bringing that boat down. They're also acting as a staging point for that accessory bunk, because it's super important. You don't want to just put the kayaks on steel rails, because they're super slippery. You want to use what is that coated, those coated 2x4s. It just seems to grab the boats enough where you don't have to strap them down when you're going to launch them. There's
Sure.
no worry about them sliding off if you have like a steel rail that you're mounting to. Those things are pretty slick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the carpeted bunks.
That's it. So thank you. The other thing that we're really excited about is this rod locker setup. So I got a couple of photos, and I'm going to go into an in-depth video, a launch video here in a couple of weeks. This will be available for retail sale here coming up soon, but this takes rod staging to a whole new level. So that rod locker does a lot more than just hold 12 rods. It's got compartments on the inside that are designed in a way that you can have 3 inches on the right hand side of additional storage space. So if you've got lights, I think in one of these photos I'm showing an LED mounted to a Panfish Pro, so that if you're launching in the middle of the night or the twilight hours or the early morning, you can have that light that you need. But you can store all that extra equipment right there in your rod locker. Right there it is. There's the Yak Attack Panfish Pro, and it's that. I tell you what, that little Panfish Pro is something else, because it swivels 360.
Yeah.
So you can put one of those little cheapo Amazon LEDs on there with a 1/4-20 thread, and you can light up the night. You can light up the ramp. You can see everything. And having that lock and load system down below allows you to pivot that light any degree you want to really get the light that you need. So we're trying to knock out a couple of problems at the same time. Early morning tournament launching with the light, and then rod staging, and then kayak launching. So this system is a system that you can buy, where you can buy the racks, you can buy the locker, or you can buy each one of them individually and make your kayak trailer your own. That's what this is all about. This is what kayak fishing has always been about, is really taking what you have and making it your own, rigging a dream, as they say, right? So
Yeah.
This helps, you don't have to buy a full-on brand new purpose-built trailer. You can buy these racks and bolt them onto the side rails of your existing trailer, and you buy this rod locker and just set it up on those racks, and away you go. You are AJ squared away. You've got room for 12 rods. You got room for additional accessories. inside that locker. You can mount so much stuff to the top of that box. Tons of sticker space. That's another thing. If you got a bunch of sponsors, you could just load that thing up. And the whole thing only weighs 85 pounds. Now, when we talk about those 8-inch PVC rod lockers, right, an 8-foot section is going to come in around 45 pounds, probably 50 pounds with the two end caps. So it's really not that much more than a traditional 8-inch PVC rod carrier in terms of weight, but it offers so much more capacity and so much more functionality. And what you don't see is when you drop those doors open. I think if you go back to that one where you show that door open, you got a table, right? You got a table where you can stage all your gear. You can stage tackle boxes, and you got a condiment bench up there. So how I use this up at Door Shack was, I had one of those little propane grills, and I've got the Orion just right there on the tongue. So I've got all my food stuff ready to go just through the grill on the door there, and had all the condiments up on top. I mean, there's so much more you can do with it, and that's what this is trying to get the most value out of the equipment that you have, right? The rod locker does multiple things. The yak racks do multiple things, and it gives you that benefit of the fuel savings of that. Both those boats having a narrower profile, right on top of each other, just right in the vehicle draft. Doesn't consume as much real estate in your backyard. If you had a double wide jet ski trailer, you could have your traditional single wide and just buy these rack systems and away you go.
That's super slick, man. Super slick. I just wanted to point out the best part of this whole photo. It's right there.
That's it.
Just saying. No, dude, it's go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, since the box is steel and obviously the rest of it, I mean, you can get like those aftermarket magnet lights that you can put on cars and stuff, and you can use that as well. I mean, it looks super sturdy, and I should mention too, like Steve actually has a pretty vast knowledge of metals and tolerances and all that good stuff. So the stuff that he's building is stuff that he's using himself and testing out in real time. So anything that he's going to make in the future is definitely be tried and tested, and it's within specs that the metal can actually handle, right?
Absolutely. Yep. And, we design for manufacturing, right? So a lot of processes, we try to nest as many parts pieces onto a single sheet as possible, trying to reduce labor by going with that heavy duty riveted construction. These are hardware that we put on our diesel generator enclosures that we provide 3 megawatt, 4 megawatt backup power solutions for big data centers like Amazon and Microsoft and so on. So these are all components that have been tested, have been utilized for the past few decades. They have a proven track record of success, and all we're doing is taking the same software, SolidWorks, to model all these components, to lay everything out in the flat, and to get CNC laser cut components. Everything just forms up, bolts up, rivets together like it was designed that way. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It's lightweight. It is just everything that I ever needed in terms of rod storage. And I'll do a deeper dive on my YouTube channel, Sturgeon Steve, on YouTube, talking about the actual launch date of when this will be available to the public. But it's going to be competitively priced, somewhere in that Yakima rod locker range, because it's not cheap. Steel's not cheap, but and neither is labor, neither is the powder coating. But what you're going to wind up with at the end of the day is a more versatile product, and it's going to offer more solutions for storage, containment of all your other components, like your 360 light, your Panfish Pros, all your rods. It can just do so much more. Plus, it's universal left and right hand. So if you wanted to mount it on the right side of your trailer versus the left, you can just swap the internals and fasten them down, and away you go.
Well, I like that you made it so it's virtually bolt on for any trailer. You know what I mean? As far as like the rail system for the staging platform and the box as well, man. Like I got a few ideas on where I could mount that either on my trailer or on my truck, which is pretty slick.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's one of those things where there's a need for it, right? You see a lot of these other boxes that guys will take two of them, 2 4-foot boxes side by side, cut the middle out. But those are big, heavy 10 gauge boxes. Those are boxes that are used for hauling, cutoff saws, big hammers, big drills.
Yeah.
They need to hang. They need to be able to handle all the abuse going down the highway. This is 16 gauge material, galvanneal, and it's just a hair under a 16th of an inch in thickness. But because of how tightly compact and how we've bent the components, it offers just a rock solid solution. That thing is, you're not flexing it. It's I want to say bulletproof, but I know you can shoot through 16 gauge. But in terms of what we need it to do, it's definitely serving a very specific purpose.
Sounds like you just challenged Jay to a duel. He'll try shooting through that 16 gauge steel. Don't tempt him to try shooting through something. He gets excited.
I know which one I picked too.
Oh boy, see?
I think from a security standpoint, that thing is going to do really well as well. Because you can use regular locks on there, right? You can get some pretty tough stuff to get through.
So the recessed handles offer 2 locking solutions, right? You have the keyed version, or they all come with keys. They all come with their own keys, but you have the ability to not only key lock it, but you can put a padlock over the T handle as well. So you can actually have 2 locks on the same handle.
That's pretty slick, man.
Yeah.
Well, too, right? Like everybody knows about, the Yakima rod box, right? And the one thing, I have one personally. The one thing I don't like about it is, security, like we're talking about. Yeah, it's got a lock on it, but at the end of the day, it's plastic. Somebody could pick up a rock, smash it, and 13 rods are now gone and in somebody else's hands.
Yep, it's a big concern for everybody, right? It's just having that level of confidence with your gear. Having something that somebody's not going to be able to break into. When you're parked at a hotel and a sketchy part of the country for a tournament, you want to know that you don't have to bring all your rods inside. You just want to know that they're safe, they're ready to go, they're going to be able to enjoy the ride securely and safely.
So I zoomed in on this handle and lock. So obviously you got the key lock, and then what? You could put a padlock up above the handle there?
Yep, right where your mouse cursors are, just above it. You see those 2 little chrome deals there.
Yeah.
Those will pull out. Those are spring loaded, so they'll pull out, and that'll give you the opportunity to put in whatever lock you want to fit in that T handle. So in addition to just a regular key lock, you can put your own master lock or your own paddle type lock on it.
That's cool. And you got 2 of them, obviously. One on both sides of the box. That's sweet.
Yep. So
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that makes it universal, right? So you can take it left hand or right hand.
Nice. I want to take a second to talk about this Farmall tractor. You a farmer? Oh, and a cat. I didn't even notice the cat in the background, bro. Here I am trying to be a smart ass, and I go to zoom in on the tractor, and I notice the cat. My bad.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, that's a 1942 Farmall Cub. It's the smallest tractor that Farmall made, and the thing actually runs. We hooked up the utility trailer to it in the wintertime, and that's what we go around town or in our little area singing Christmas carols on. The kids just absolutely love it. And
nice.
The one next to it is my son's. It's a orchard crawler. It's a tracked tractor. But when my old man passed away, he left every single one of his grandkids had a tractor. So he was an avid collector down in California.
That's super cool. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to get sidetracked there. Just me being me. But Super cool stuff, man. I look forward to seeing where this goes, man. And I love the idea because, like you said, there's so many times, and obviously we see it all the time online, like damn kayakers, clogging up the ramp and stuff like that. And, I've always been like you. I like to rig up my stuff in the parking lot as you're getting ready and then just go down and launch the kayak. And this makes it super, super easy, which is sweet. I like it.
Well, the benefit is that you can have an affordable solution to give you those the high dollar value trailer benefit of having a big double wide, right? But you can have it in a small package and you can still stash it in your backyard without it taking up too much real estate, right? You want that thing to be as compact as possible, but you also want it to be secure. You also want to be able to have the reliability of it, and that's what this racking system provides. What the solution that it provides gives you the benefit of that, having that ability to launch both boats side by side, and you can stage all your equipment right before you even get to the water. And that is a huge time saver for putting in and pulling out.
Yeah, I would say that's probably where I get most annoyed is I just, with all the stuff we got on these kayaks now, it's so hard to get everything like, what's it called? Like, well, set up, let's just say, even station, right? I mean, I just remember pulling my truck down. All of a sudden, I'm pulling stuff out of crates, throwing it off to the side, hoping I don't forget something. And then I pull my truck up. Then I go back down and put everything on the kayak that's pulled off to the side, and then you got people waiting on you. And it's like, it just drives me insane. I miss the days of being able to launch from a trailer.
I'll tell you what, when it comes to tournament fishing, I would confidently say that most mistakes happen at the boat ramp, right? When you're in a hurry, you forget stuff. There's been a couple of tournaments, man, I forgot my catch board, or oh man, I forgot this. I got to go back to the ramp. Well, being able to stage in the parking lot gives you that time that you need to make sure that yes, you are AJ squared away. You have all the parts and pieces that you need for your tournament day, and you don't have to second guess yourself. You know you're hitting the water with everything that you need.
Super slick, man. Super
it's
slick.
A great setup, Steve. Really, it is. I mean, I don't know why nobody's like even thought of it. You know what I mean? It's because when you see it now, it just seems so obvious, but at the same rate, not so much. I mean, I don't know. I dig it, man. It looks really good. It looks like very functional. To where you can, like you said, launch two boats at the same time. Just again, just the trailer launching aspect is just the best for me at this point in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it saves the back, the arms, the legs. Like, yeah, it's huge being able to wet launch. I know when, I think it was just this year I started messing around with wet launching my kayak off my trailer, and I'm like, oh my god, this makes life so much easier.
Yeah, that's
so
like the first time
work.
I saw, like when I first saw somebody kicking a kayak out of the back of a bed, like with PVC tubes like off of it, and it just slid right in. I was like, that's amazing. Like,
yeah,
why did I think of that?
That's killer.
Yeah, that's Door Shack right there.
That's a beautiful lake, man.
Oh yeah, all the camping out there is great too. I think there's a photo in there of our camp spot that evening.
Right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this is the place you go to get away. Cell phone reception is non-existent. I mean, you're just one with nature. Beautiful, beautiful area, northern Idaho. Just Ponderay, Coeur d'Alene, Door Shack, that whole area.
Hey, Steve. As far as that cooler goes, are you going to be offering any bolt-on options? Bolt-on options for coolers as well, like that one?
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about all the other accessories, but there's a whole line of things that I'm coming out with that I've used in my time on the water, from specialty camera mounts to custom racks to everything in between. We just put a pretty big emphasis on the rack and rod locker system, but having a cooler on the trailer tongue, man, it is amazing. Once you extend your tongue, that trailer tracks so much better. hands down, if you have a 3-foot tongue, boom, make it 6 foot, save yourself a ton of heartache. So much easier to back up, it tracks better. Plus, it gives you the opportunity to put so much more equipment just right on the front. And having having this Orion, having the Orion cooler right there on that tongue, allows me to use J bolts to bolt that thing down to the tongue, so it's not going anywhere. I've driven thousands of miles with it and with no issues. Right, love that cooler, love the placement on it, and accessibility is king. I use that cooler so much more now because it's so easier to access instead of having to lug a big cooler around in the back of the vehicle. It's always on the rig. It's always on the trailer. So yes, that pad system down below, there'll be multiple sizes available for purchase as well, where you can buy. It's a 2x2 12 gauge formed galvanneal angle with a expanded metal mesh underside, so it's not going to sit there and collect water. It'll have a bolt-on system for 3x3 tongue trailers or 3x2 tongue trailers, and it's been a huge game changer. It gives me the right working height too, for tying up rods. Just one more working surface, one more flat surface when you're out there getting ready to launch.
Well, not only that too, right? Like, Jay, how many trips have we gone on and we usually got one, maybe two coolers in the back of the truck, and it takes up a bunch of room in the bed of the truck.
Yep.
Now that frees it.
You're constantly sliding in and out. It's like not,
Yeah,
it's accessible, but it's not, I guess, where depending
Sure.
on how you got, what you've been throughout the day or like past couple days, sometimes I think it's buried a little bit.
Yeah, totally agree, man. And this takes all that crap out of there. That's what I love about it. And I've seen it too, where like, people put like those cargo boxes similar to what your rod box is, like on the front of the trailer, so you could throw extra gear and stuff in there, which is nice for sure, because you could leave, again, leaves more storage room. Or in your case, right, Steve, because you were driving like a crossover SUV, I think, in that one photo when you had the boats rigged up, right?
Oh yeah, CX9.
Yeah, so now you're freeing up more space in the car. And for some of you road warriors that sleep in the car, like having to pull stuff out of the car in order to sleep in your car, there you go. That saves that much more room,
Well, there's also this. I think Steve used to pull that thing with a Mazda.
Yeah, well, when gas is almost $6 a gallon, there's no shame in pulling it with a little Mazda 3 when you're trying to travel 1,000 miles round trip.
Yeah.
So imagine this, Brian, Mazda 3. We are technically off-roading in some of these places. I'm not using technically. We are absolutely off-roading, and this little car is so low to the ground, and we're driving in some like back-ass parts of Idaho. I mean, as far as like, you wouldn't take a car down these roads, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
you think truck, like, absolutely truck. But here we are pulling a trailer with a few kayaks and some gear on there. And I mean, that little Mazda dude was making it. So, there's something
I
to
tell you
it.
what, when you can get 30 miles to the gallon in that thing, pulling both of those, it's a no-brainer, right? So I prefer the CX9, but when I'm going by myself and it's just my own, on my own trip, I'm not taking anybody else, I'll take the smaller vehicle, just get that much better gas mileage, right? Because that's another thing, man. I want to spend money on more tackle, I want to spend money on more rods, more equipment. I don't want to spend money on gas. So fuel savings is a huge thing for me. So how can you get something small like this to live in that draft, that vehicle draft, to get the best, most efficient profile, so you're not you're not spending unnecessary amounts of fuel.
Oh yeah.
Can't beat it, man. Can't beat it.
Yeah, it looks good, dude. I really like the way it looks, man. It's nice,
Super
and compact.
slick.
Yeah, nice and compact. It's still DIY, and you could still do other stuff to it. I mean, I already see, you got your lights. You could do LED lights. You could the magnum lights. You could bring out a little power cell and just have some external lights. I mean, you can, you could put a winch on there. I'm sure you could do all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, there's plenty of room for
Absolutely.
everything.
That's what it's all about, rigging the dream, right? Now, one of the things
Yeah.
that I'm going to add to my locker is I'm going to be adding a couple of crossover racks, small ones. The dimensions of the box are 97.5 inches long. It's 7 inches deep at the main body, 13 inches high. But I'm going to put these little racks on the top that'll allow me to put one of those 10-foot by 10-foot pop-up tents, and I could just strap it right to the top of that locker, and boom, if I'm going camping and I need one of those pop-up tents, that's one more thing I don't have to throw in the back of the CX-9. I could just have it right there on the trailer.
Well, there
That's
you go.
that's so huge, dude. Being able to, like I said, going back to the cooler, just being able to save the room in the truck, the car, whatever vehicle you're using, super huge. Because I mean, man, there's been so many trips I've gone on, and like my bed is stuffed full. The back of my truck cab is stuffed
Yep.
full of stuff. And if I could put half that stuff on my trailer, oh my God. And have it bolted down or secured down, it's super good, man. Super good.
Yep.
I would even go one extra too, like because I've seen plenty of guys do this. If you jackknife the trailer and the truck a little bit, you can hang a kayak from your trailer to your truck, so then you can just sleep right by your truck too.
Sure.
What is this?
Sure.
Get a little hammock set up.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Like if there's like a little islet or something. But yeah, whoever just posted that, you're right, because I did that to mine and it was cool, But this one looks. I like this one. It's different than mine, and I really like the setup of it and I'm just at an age now where I just want to like boat launch. I mean, if this keeps up, it's either I'm getting a boat or I got to figure out how to do it with the kayak. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. Like I'm just tired of pulling stuff out of crates and hustling. I'm just over it. I'm just super over it. And I just want things to be a lot easier. And this seems to solve a lot of that. I remember the days of trailer launching. I mean, and that's what it's like. You get to take your time. You can still screw around. You don't forget stuff. And then when you're good to go, you just, boom, you're in the water and off you go.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I knew who posted that by the 2 beers at the end of that comment. It was Big Daddy, aka John Rapp.
Yeah,
I
I'm
knew
a little bit
who
of
it
a
was.
trailer geek.
I need to call you, John. I'm not avoiding you. I will call you, buddy. But no, man, dude, I just love it. That's what's great about kayak fishing, right? Is a lot of this stuff has been like DIY, customization on the fly. We see things that could serve better purpose in areas and stuff like that, man. And that's how a majority of these kayak accessory companies got started. I mean, like, look at Luther, for instance. It all started with that high vis, light pole, for those guys going out at night, I think it was the Atlantic Ocean or something, if my memory serves me correct. They needed some kind of light, so they didn't get run over by boats. And now look at Yak Attack, right? Mr. Rigging the Dream here, Sturgeon Steve is taking over that, So, I mean, it's super cool, man. I love that aspect about the kayak fishing community, man. It's just some of I think it's almost every other day, right? Like we're scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, and we're like, oh, look at the way this dude has his boat set up, or look at the way, Steve's got his trailer set up and things like that, man. And we all pull from those ideas, which is super cool. And Steve, what you came up with, man, is super, super unique by far.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm trying to talk to the guys that want that functionality but need that affordability. The guys
Sure.
that can't go spend dedicated money, $3,000-4,000 on a trailer. You can spend a lot less and get the same functionality and be able to do a lot more, especially with that rod locker setup, because it's got a lot of flat surfaces. I mean, you can mount tons of things to it. You can poke any amount of holes in it that you want, put any kind of accessories, any kind of lights on the inside, any kind of racks on the top. It's really all about making it your own, rigging it out however it best serves you.
I want to kind of go sell my Yakima trailer now and just get a jet ski trailer.
Well, I had bought that trailer off of a guy just right out of his front yard. He was getting ready to haul it off to the dump, and I think I spent like $40 on a trailer, and I put a new tongue on it, welded the tongue on, put some fenders on it, and I'm really not into that trailer for very much money. And you're going to find deals like that all over the country. Also takes a little bit of elbow grease and some bolt-on solutions, and then you have got a tournament setup that is, you're ready to rock. You got your cooler set up, you got your rod lockers, you got your stagers, you got your wet launch functionality for 2 boats. And the other thing too is, if I want to take that upper boat off, I can unpin that upper rack system, and now I can put a cargo rack up on top for additional gear. So if I'm making a long haul to like a national championship or whatever, I would put that cargo rack on there and just have all that extra space. So
Nice.
that pin concept of pinning your bunks down, of pinning your arms, it offers so much more flexibility on what you can do with it in the future.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. I love it. I love it. Do we want to move on to the next thing?
Oh yeah. Just got a ton of things that we've been working on, right? A lot of
You want me to
times,
play the video clip first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right. Let me share that up, and we'll play this. It's only a couple seconds long.
So before we get into it, though, I need to give credit to Mr. Josh Dolan. He is one of the most dedicated anglers I've ever met in my entire life, and this guy is a phenomenal videographer, phenomenal drone pilot. This guy is 100% chasing his passion, and he put this promo video together for chasing these big alligator gar and these big white sturgeon out here in Idaho and in Texas with David Graham. So this video clip that we're going to watch is from Josh Dolan's Have Rods Will Travel YouTube channel, and he's got some big things coming. He's got a big series that is in the works, and this is just a promo clip from that. So I want to show you this super unique shot that we got with some of the equipment that we designed here in Idaho, that gives you a perspective that no one else has. You really don't see these shots anywhere else on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. These are one-of-a-kind shots, and we make the camera rigs to make these shots happen.
Here we go.
Big old 8-foot sturgeon just swimming by. That's Have Rods Will Travel. That's Josh Dolan right there.
So how many casts did it take for him to end up with that sturgeon in the shot after the cast?
Well, I'm gonna say it was all done in one shot, right? But we all know that there's some very cool video cinematic editing that has to happen in order to really be able to tell a story efficiently. And in this particular shot, it was a casting shot, a sinking shot, and then an underwater eat shot combined together to make one seamless. It looks like you cast the camera from the boat, and then you stitch that together with another underwater shot, and then you stitch that together with some footage that you have of some fish swimming by. But together, it tells a story of, this is where we're at, this is what we're doing, this is what we're fishing for, this is how we're doing it. So in order to make that happen, we're in the river, we're in the current, and we're able to get these shots because the 360 cameras that have come out lately, they're incredible. You can do so much stuff with them. And you need a mount to be able to put the center of gravity in a way so that you can get that shot without all your gear in the frame. And then you also need another camera rig to be able to put that camera in current down at the bottom of the water with bait attached to it, right? So you need all those different devices to be able to get shots like that. And that's I don't have any on hand. They're back at the house, but those will be available later this year as well for purchase. If you want to get a couple shots like that and some underwater shots, those would be available.
I need that in my life. Actually, I need my cameraman to come back
Yeah.
to get those shots, but we won't bring that up tonight.
We'll be near each other a couple weeks, right?
I don't want to hear your bullshit excuses.
How far away do you guys live from each other now?
9 hours.
Oh
like 9 hours.
God.
Yeah, that's what I
9
said.
hours.
That's what I said. He could have
That's
moved
like-
just over the border, 45 minutes
six-
away, half hour away.
$600 round trip in the truck.
Who knows? Yeah, I know. Like it's it's at least 2 Phillips, I think, on the way
Yeah.
up and down.
Nice knowing you, buddy. Nice
So,
knowing
of course, Steve is 24 hours from
you.
where I used to live.
Yeah,
And
right.
now we'll tack on another 9. You know?
I bet if you hopped in an airplane, it'd probably take you about 4.5. Steve's got an extra boat with a sweet trailer set up. You guys could launch at the exact same time, get all rigged up in the parking lot, and you'd be good to go. See?
That's
Problem
right.
solved.
Hey,
Problem
Jay,
solved.
you know what? It's your old boat too, so it'd be right
See?
at home.
See? See? It's like it was meant to be, bro.
Fits like a glove.
Oh, I love it, man. Love it, love it. Steve, we appreciate you hopping on tonight, man. And dude, so much cool stuff you got going on, and I look forward to all the detailed video and stuff. And I dropped your YouTube channel link in the chat, and for those of you listening on the podcast platforms, I'll put that in the show notes as well, so you can go find Steve's channel. Make sure you sub to that, so that way you're following and getting those updates as he's releasing it and stuff like that. Do you have a website that you're putting up where people are going to be able to go and purchase this stuff, or like how's that going to work?
Yep, it's currently under construction right now. I don't have a domain, but I have my have an e-commerce guru that's working with me right now to get the money shots that we need, the sales footage, and also to be able to handle the back end stuff, right? All the payment processing, and to get that actually launched. So I'm expecting to have that launched and live sometime around in August, so that people can start buying this equipment, start buying these boxes and these racks and these bunks and everything, so that they can get ready for the 2023 season. But yeah, the market's there for guys that need an affordable solution to give them that top tier functionality that just, I mean, there's a void, and that's what I'm filling.
Love it. Love it. Shout out your social medias, man, so people could follow you there too, bro. Perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so on YouTube it's Sturgeon Steve, just Sturgeon Steve, and then on Instagram it is Scuba Cuda 86. Scuba Cuda 86. I started out doing all the social media stuff on the Cuda 12, and since I put on a couple of pounds, I've since graduated from the Cudas, so that's where that name came from.
Nice. Would you change your name to, Jay?
What?
Yeah, you put on a couple pounds. You probably change your name too, right?
Dave.
I'm kidding. You probably lost weight, dude. You've been in Tennessee hiking and mountain biking, and
I mean, I want to be more of an optimist about it, but I mean, I'm gonna be more of a realist. I'm the same. So wherever I've done really good, I've made some poor decisions otherwise.
on the back end.
So it's really just a balance that I'm just trying to keep. I got a rep. You know what I mean? I mean, if I turn up being thin, people are gonna be like, "Is that dude sick?" I mean, they're not gonna know what's going on. Then I gotta answer a bunch of weird questions. I was like, "No."
How long does Jay have?
Yeah, no kidding. I was like, it's like So I'll just keep
Oh
chasing,
man, love it.
Like, I'm an old man now.
Love it. Right on, man. Steve, very much appreciated. Love all the new stuff, and it's cool. Wishing you nothing but love in the future with the endeavor, man. It's going to be super cool.
Thank you very
Jay?
much. I appreciate it.
No problem, brother. Jay, final thoughts?
Steve, once you get everything rocking and rolling, come back on.
Yes.
We'll help you do an official launch with everything,
Yes.
and that way we can get we'll probably have better pictures and all that to present. We can actually bring your site up and show people your site.
Absolutely.
but
Yeah,
no,
no, I really, really appreciate that. Matter of fact, Brian, one of these lockers is coming your way, just so you know. So I need your address so that when we talk again, you will have one of these boxes and you will have the experience and all the pros and cons. You can say what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and firsthand experience, right?
Steve, you are the fucking man.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've been slipping up lately.
Thank you, Brad.
No, I love it, man. I love it. I look forward to it, dude. Very much so. Boys, girls, if you came in late, you could always go back, rewatch on the Facebook, the YouTube. This gets uploaded to the podcast platforms, should be live in about an hour or so. We appreciate all of you tuning in tonight. Next week, we're going to do a little ICAST preview. We're going to have a few people on and talk about some things we're looking forward to seeing down at ICAST this year. And we want to hear what you're looking forward to hearing at or seeing from ICAST. And obviously myself, Jimmy Skinner, Armando Sola, I know John Rapp's going to be down there, a whole slew of folks, Nicholas Beltran, Mike McKinstry. So we look forward to seeing you guys all down there and, bringing you some live content, but we're going to do a little ICAST preview show next week. So be sure to tune in for that. We're here live every Thursday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock out on the West Coast. Till next time, boys and girls. Tight lines. Smooth path. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode here on Paddle and Fin. Be sure to drop a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, or smash that subscribe button on any platform you're listening in on. Be sure to check us out on Waypoint TV, waypointtv.com. Make sure you sign up for the Fantasy Kayak Fishing League at paddleandfin.com/fantasy. You could support this show through Patreon, patreon.com/paddleandfin. Don't forget to check out the website, paddleandfin.com. Catch us on YouTube. If you got a question, comment, or want to see a future guest on the show, be sure to email us at paddleandfin@gmail.com. Shout out to our show supporters, Yak Gadget. You can check out all the fine kayak accessories at yakgadget.com. Pelican Professional. For all your cases, coolers, and lighting needs, go to pelican.com. Rocktown Adventures, your Midwest premier paddle sports destination. Go to rocktownadventures.com. Eastport Marina, the beautiful destination on Dale Hollow Lake. If you're looking for lodging, kayaks, kayak accessories, or anything fishing related on the beautiful Dale Hollow Lake, go to eastport.info. And Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com and fill your tackle boxes today.